And hello, my name is Jim Miller, and this is Unlocking Personal Leadership Live number 25. 25. I like the sound of that. Live 25. Well, I have taken a few days off. I got sick last week and I had some time to think, and that's sometimes a dangerous thing because I got complacent a bit in my ideas about doing these lives and being consistent. I'd been pretty darn consistent up to number 24, and then now I've had a week. It's been a week today that I haven't done a live, and I got to admit that it was a nice little break. But I'm excited to get back into it. And tonight's topic is something that hit me during this time, actually today. My coach, Bob Donnell, he posted a poignant question that got me thinking about convenience versus commitment and how it relates to leadership. And one of Bob's pillars is all about convenience. There's no convenience in commitment. And man, that hit me like a ton of bricks. Bam. It's like, okay, well, what am I doing? Why am I not doing my lives? And why did I stop? Was it because they just weren't convenient to me anymore? I want to say no. I've rationalized it in 100 different ways. But bottom line is, I want to keep going with this. And it's a commitment that I made to myself. And convenient or not, I want to keep going. So today, I wanted to talk about that. As a leader, where do you draw the line between convenience and commitment? Where is that line? We all live with convenience. We in the United States and many places around the world, our lives compared to our ancestors' lives, even 50 to 75 years ago, are so much different. We have convenienced ourselves into oblivion to a large degree. We're separated by this every day. Our nose is in here. I see people at the restaurants, and even I'm guilty of it. Lisa and I'll sit there, and we had a friend of ours. We were at a restaurant. They have a nice bar set up where stools, and you can eat there without having to wait in line. So we were there and we were chatting, and then all of a sudden we both got sidetracked and got phone busy and started, we were both looking at our phones, and he comes walking up and he just goes, oh yeah, you go out to eat together and then you don't spend any time talking. And it's like, bam, I got caught. So that was kind of fun. But it's true. We're so caught up in our daily, being involved with everything going on that's convenient for us to be able to do, that we get lost. I get lost in everything and forget sometimes what's really important. And the mix of structure in the day between what's convenient and what do I need to actually deliver on that I've made commitments for every day. And that question is continually coming up. And we try to make things that are convenient, that fulfill our commitments. But I tell you what, from my experience, that rarely works. It rarely gives you the results. Like AI, another example, it's coming up and it's getting better. But right now, even though it's convenient, the content just really isn't that good. I mean, it's okay. It's not going to give you a great result. So is it worth it? You got to use it as a tool, but you've also got to weigh in what it is you're trying to accomplish and what the deliverable is that you have as a leader, and as you made a commitment to reach an objective, to hit a mark, to be your best at something. Is that convenience worth the convenience of it? And is there a cost to it? So I wanted to take a look at I pulled up, there's a site called thesaurus.com. And boy, this is so cool. This is another convenience. I remember when I was a kid growing up, we had an encyclopedia. We had two sets of encyclopedias in the house, huge. They were like 10 feet across the room, big old thick books, tons of pages, little thin, tiny, real thin, high quality paper. These were Britannicas. They were beautiful pictures. You could see, there was the whole world right there. It was Google before Google existed. And then we had a dictionary, and this dictionary was, I swear, it was that thick, and it was on this big thing, and it had all the tabs in it, and you could look up a word, and it had every word known to man in there, and it was amazing. I was so lucky to have that in my house, but it wasn't convenient for me until I finally figured out, wow, what a blessing this is to have here. To be able to look words up and learn, like going through, a book and not knowing what the word is. Well, you look it up and then you know what that word is, and the whole context of the story that you're reading pops into view, and it's beautiful. So, but I needed to go to that book to get that information. Now, all I got to do is pull up my phone and look up a word, and bam, it's right there. And then if I want to, I can just tell AI, I can tell Siri, look up this word, and boop, it pops up. So it's almost too easy. It's like we're conveniencing ourselves out of existence and having a life that is meaningful. Because if you don't have to use that information, why do you even ask for it? If you can't, if you're not going to remember it and use it in some intelligent way to make your life or others' lives around you better. I don't know. But anyway, I have this thesaurus.com page up, and I've looked up two words. I've looked up the word convenience, and I've looked up the word commitment. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but you look up a word and say convenience, and it says it's a noun, as in availability or usefulness, convenience. And there's synonyms and antonyms. And the synonyms, there's strong matches and strongest matches. And so a strongest match for convenience would be availability, accommodation, enjoyment, satisfaction, usefulness. Those are synonyms for convenience. Benefit, comfort, advantage, assistance. Right? And then you look at the antonyms. Click on that. Antonyms of convenience, difficulty. These are opposites. Synonyms are the same as, and antonyms are the opposite of, right? So antonyms of convenience would be difficulty or disadvantage or dissatisfaction or hindrance or inconvenience. That's kind of an obvious one. A need, a restriction, unhappiness. Wow. A want. Antonym of convenience is a want. So if you have something that's convenient, it's something that you don't want anymore. You have it. So interesting way to look at this. So it is a synonym match for amenity, appliance, and facility. And the strongest match is time saver. And I think convenience, if I were to say what convenience is, I'd say, yeah, that's a time saver. So it's you can justify the time that you're spending or the use of a convenience because you're saving time. Okay, yeah, saving time. But what we don't think about, I think, enough, we don't think about what is it costing to have that convenience for you and for us as a world, for us as a country and a nation, for us as a community, and as you having your family and you as an individual, all the way down to that. What's it costing to have that time saver, and is it worth it? I think that's a really good question to ask. So related words, sample sentences. Here we go. Sample sentences for the word convenience. So here's one. So if you think, here it is, I'm going to read it. So if you think about our cycle in the US, when we first started having tech companies in tech services, we were actually pretty happy with the idea of giving up some of our data privacy in exchange for that convenience. I think that the folks that like my parents and my grandparents, because they went through so much turmoil in World War II and Vietnam and Korea War, some when I was young, World War One, they were cautious, and also through the Depression. People who lived through the Depression in the 1929 crash and into the 30s, they suffered a lot, and their awareness of convenience and what the cost is for something was very acute. I think a lot more than us today. We're just lulled into this. Life is easy and convenient, and I think there's a serious opportunity for us to evaluate that individually, as a community, as a state, as a country. What is it that really is the cost of giving up our privacy for the convenience that we have? It's a good thing to talk about. So convenience, how does that relate as a leader? Where do we draw back to our topic? Where do you draw that line between convenience and commitment? And so let's take a look at commitment now. So commitment, I've got the thesaurus up, and I'm looking at the synonyms for commitment. And it says engagement, guarantee, need, pledge, promise, responsibility. Responsibility. And strong matches are charge, committal, devoir. Not sure what that means. Duty, liability. That's interesting. As in, commitment is something that you become liable to deliver on when you make a commitment. It's a must, an undertaking, a vow. You're giving your word. Wow. What does that mean? Giving your word. As a leader, that's really strong language. If you're a leader, giving your word on something is like putting your signature on it. Like, that's a commitment. That's making that real. That's you commit to delivering that. And the better reputation you have, and the more successful you are at being consistent at delivering your commitments on time, the better your reputation is for yourself, most importantly, and for those around you, your family, your friends, your business associates, your stakeholders, your community. Everything's kind of hinged around that idea of giving your word and what that's really worth. And it's an individual thing. Everybody has a value there. What's good question to ask maybe as a leader, and maybe we'll talk about this at another time, is what is your word worth in the community right now? It's interesting to think about. I mean, you can't really put a value on it, but if you did a survey of people that you hired somebody to go around and do a survey for you about Jim Miller's worth in terms of his word, and you had to rank it from, say, 0 to 10, 10 being highest, Where would you rank that? I have no idea. Some people would say, oh, he's 0. And some people say, oh, he's 10. But you do have some control over that. Each of us as an individual have control over that to some degree. And that, it's fortunate that we have people that forgive us, friends forgive us, family forgives us, business associates will forgive us, God forgives us. We have that. So we can mess up big time and still be okay, but it's all about building that equity and building that trust and creating that track record of meeting your commitments. So that's another point on the line. Where do you draw that line between convenience and commitment? And if you do everything in your life that's convenient, does it affect how you're able to deliver on something you promise? Maybe it's inconvenient for you to go to the store and pick up the hinge that you needed, that you promised your significant other that you would fix the screen door on the front porch, and you missed it. You just didn't get to the hardware store on time to pick that up. Well, it's excusable, but you missed it because it wasn't convenient for you enough to get down to the store and get what you needed to fix the screen door. Well, those little things add up. So you're always drawing that line. What's convenient and what's a commitment? So let's take a look at some sentences with commitment. A commitment is, here's one. We need a real commitment to make the film in order to get this going. You can picture the producer and his stakeholders and investors and the producer and some of the actors, and say, okay, well, we need to make this real. We need a commitment. That's the language. And it's strong. It's like, this is not going to be done at your convenience. You're going to have to travel. You're going to have to take extra time. You're going to be working long hours. You're going to miss sleep. You're going to miss meals. You're going to miss your family. You're going to have to make a commitment to have this project happen. So convenience kind of gets pushed back and commitment gets pushed up for that period of time with that group of people. And so but if you made commitments to that project and then because of that you missed another project you're working on because this one was better for you, but you'd already made a commitment to do something else, is that right? You got to manage all this in your life in order to make it work. Here's another one. It was a personal thing she was working towards, and I felt very invested as well as seeing her level of commitment. So it was like a teacher working, helping a student, and he was feeling very invested as well as seeing her level of commitment. She was expressing or she was presenting with a lot of commitment to this project, and he, it seems like, was very happy with that. Okay. Here's another one. To see him make that commitment, and then the fact that he wanted to make sure his kids were baptized speaks volumes, Lee said. Yeah. So here's one. I am still in my little cell awaiting what comes and have not heard much yet regarding commitment, but I hope it may come in time. Maybe that was somebody who is waiting to be executed and wrote that. Imagine that. If it was inconvenient for the governor to pardon this person, and he was put to death. How would that make you feel if you were in that position? Just wasn't convenient, so this guy died. Well, there's always a price. There's always that line. Where does it go? Who are you committed to? Where are your commitments, your fundamental commitments? Where are mine? It's a great question to ask. So, commitment as a leader, where do you draw the line between convenience and commitment? And how do you really recognize when you're crossing the line? And are you comfortable with that? And how do you fix it once you've crossed it? I think it depends on the situation, and I think you need to really be in the habit of understanding everything that you're doing. I trust in meditation and prayer, and being organized, having good people around me, and trusting that I'll get what I need when I need it, and not succumb to the simplicity of being lulled into the idea that because it's convenient, it's right. Sometimes, most times, if you want to achieve greatness, at least from my experience, it's done at your inconvenience. It's done when you don't feel like it. It's that time when you've got to push to the end, and it's a struggle, and you're tired, you're hungry, you're sore, you're worn out, you're beat, and that you've got two more things to do before your head hits the pillow, and you get those things done, and that clicks the commitment ratchet up for you, so it doesn't go backwards again the next day. And it feels good. It's a boost to your mental state, and it gives you the performance edge that makes you that gives you the ability to deliver on time and with the right stuff. So, well, I think that's going to be it for this live. We've talked about commitment. Where do you draw the line between convenience and commitment? And if you have any thoughts on that, love to hear them. Put them in the comments, and we'll talk. We can chat. And I hope you're having an awesome day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Till the next live. See ya.